This is the BODAR Blast by the USS Decatur, with your host, Lt.j.g Daniel Ehrlich. All views expressed on this show are not those of the United States Navy and made by the individuals who are on the show. All music used is used with the permission of the songwriter or is royalty-free. This is a feature production of the USS Decatur and is made free to use and free for all the families and supporters of the USS Decatur DDG 73. Bold and daring. I am Lieutenant Junior Grade Daniel Ehrlich, and welcome to the BODAR Blast. It is just after Christmas for USS Decatur, and I am so excited to welcome you to our first official episode of the BODAR Blast. Now, we've got an excellent guest today in Boatswain's Mate First Class Gabriel Jimenez, but first, we got to talk over a few things that have been happening on board. It's been a great holiday season for us, but we've had a lot happening out here. Obviously, we left earlier this month. We just did a social media post about it. You might see it by this point. But we've also done quite a bit else. We've traveled the ocean seas. But while we've been doing that, we've had an awesome Steel Beach picnic hosted by our Chief's Mess with a pieing in the face, which you'll hear about more from our guests today, as well as multiple different awesome meals from our supply department, including brunches and a wonderful Christmas meal, an amazing spread for that Steel Beach, and it's been awesome so far to be at sea with every single member of the crew on USS Decatur. In addition, our MWR has been on fire lately. They just did a Christmas holiday raffle, which was awesome. They had some amazing, I would say, presents at this point. It was free to join for anybody in the crew, and the top three gifts, let me tell you this. On a ship of 300 out in the middle of the ocean, and the first prize gift is a brand new PS5, PlayStation 5, I'm telling you. You couldn't even get that thing in a Walmart back at home. I'm telling you, and they have it on here. Congratulations to culinary specialist Seaman Soto for winning that PS5 and having a hell of a good Christmas, if I say so myself. And then we also had a couple of 32-inch flat screen TVs. The MWR has just been amazing. We've had movie nights. We had The Grinch going on. I mean, it's been an amazing holiday season. Huge props to the culinary specialists and members of the supply department as well for getting the ship all dressed up for the holidays. The mess decks were decked out in Christmas stuff, and we had the wardroom Christmas tree. It was great. We had some board games on Christmas Eve up here in the wardroom. We had some amazing games to play throughout the ship, and it's just been an amazing holiday season. Even though we're away from all of you guys at home, it is still a pleasure to be riding the high seas with everybody on here and doing some of the fun stuff out here. It's been hot, let me tell you. And that's my what's up for that for this week, is that it has been insanely hot. It's gotten better recently, I'll say that. But when you walk outside and your body instantly is just draped in sweat, I'm telling you, like, it's not even like 10 to 15 seconds. It's like 5 to 10 seconds, you're just dripping. Every part of your body just feels just gross. Like you need to take a shower. And it's just awful. But I have to give props to every single member of the crew, especially the guys working, the guys and gals working the vert rep and unreps that we've been doing. They have been champs out there in the heat, getting us the supplies and fuel we need. And you'll talk to you'll hear from Boatswain's Mate First Class Jimenez later on, and he'll talk more about those evolutions. But they've been the champs in getting us that food. As well as just our entire combat team and the rest of the team, and just making sure that everything stays normal. But yeah, that's my what's up with that is, God, what's up with that with the heat? We hope that everybody back at home is having a wonderful holiday. And now, we're just going to leave it right into our featured guest, and our first guest on this show, Boatswain's Mate First Class Gabriel Jimenez. And I'm joined by Boatswain's Mate First Class Gabriel Jimenez here in USS Decatur, and I'm happy to be joined by him because he is our first guest on the BODAR Blast podcast. Anything you'd like to say to the families before we start this interview?
First of all, thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate to be the first guest on the BODAR podcast. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everybody who when you guys receive this. Hope you guys had a really good holiday. I know I really enjoyed it out here, out to sea, as best as we possibly could. So I appreciate you having me on here, sir.
So, super excited to have you on here. What got you into the Navy and what got you into being a boatswain's mate? Did you start on DES, or did you kind of go straight into it?
So yeah, I joined the Navy in 2011. Actually, I depped out of the out of Medford, Minnesota, in that area around Faribault, Minnesota. I was living up there with my brothers, and I depped out of there. So I ended up going to the Navy in around April of 2012. Did boot camp, and then I joined as an undez. So I was an E1 straight out of boot camp, and went straight to the fleet after that. After my little 10-day stint at Great Lakes after boot camp. But I checked into my first command, USS Carl Vinson CVN 70. And I was there from 2012 to 2017. I ended up doing 2 Westpacks over there. I did my first one was a 5th Fleet deployment for Operation Inherent Resolve, and that was a 10.5-month deployment. And on that deployment, I actually struck bosun mate. I was in the security forces there, TAD, for about a year and a half, and it was about 3 years, almost 3 years into the Navy that I finally struck. So I finally struck bosun's mate because I was getting tired of seeing all my friends and everybody advancing, and I wasn't taking any exams. So my first exam, I ended up striking. It was at the time it was, once you took the exam, you passed it, and you got to put on bosun's mate. So my second exam, I ended up making 3rd class, and then came back home from deployment for a little bit. And then I was off onto my second one, and at the end of my second tour on deployment, I ended up making 2nd class. So I ended up making that 2nd class pretty fast. And then from there, I went to San Clemente Island, which is the Naval Auxiliary Landing Facility over there. That's where we do a lot of the weapons testing and surface and acoustics over there. So I was the Port Operations Duty Officer over there, and I ended up getting meritoriously promoted at the end of my tour over there to 1st class, and then I checked on board USS Decatur in October 2020, and I've never looked back.
So what I know that you kind of get a choice of what you want to do as far as striking. What got you into bosun's mate? Like, what really drew you into it?
What really drew me into it, honestly, was just the camaraderie. You know, the camaraderie in deck division and deck department is like no other rate in the Navy. You're in a melting pot in the Navy regardless, but in deck it's just, you work hard each and every day, and you really do earn your paycheck, and you kind of have to start at a lower level than everybody else. You know, when I was on DES, climbing through the ranks, I picked jobs that wasn't comfortable for a lot of people. Was either cleaning the heads or the toilets or whatever, and just earning my stripes and kind of just putting my head down and doing my job, and at the end of the day, and doing what was best for myself as well. I got my qualifications fast. I got my surface warfare pin pretty fast. I didn't want to stay at those low levels for a long time. Even though I was on DES for 3 years, I just took jobs and assignments that not a lot of people took on. And in deck division, once you step out of the ranks of the seamen and you start and to be a petty officer third class or a boatswain's mate third class, you step into the realm of being a supervisor. You take on that leadership at a very young rank. Unlike other rates where they kind of stay the same thing, they do the same jobs at the same as a third class or maybe even a second class level. In deck division, we pride ourselves on the hierarchy of our rank structure. I put a lot of trust and power into my third classes and empower them to be leaders at a very young rank, even at a young age. So that's really kind of what kind of grasped me to be in a boatswain's mate, just because the leadership aspect of it is just it's like no other rate in the Navy, and we just have a great camaraderie. We work hard. The evolutions are dangerous, and I like to tell my guys that you can either sit in a classroom, and learn a rate, or you can get out there on a rig, or you can get out there on the flight deck, and that's your classroom. You get to learn it hands-on.
So not everybody at home might know this, but what are some of the things that a bosun mate does, especially on like a smaller ship like USS Decatur?
Well, on a crew deck ship, it's a lot different than what I was doing on an aircraft carrier, that's for sure. You stand a lot of watch, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of watch standing, but that kind of goes how it is for every rate. They're up on the helm, they're driving the ship, they're taking orders from the commanding officer. They're out on the lookouts, and the lookouts is honestly one of the more important jobs when it comes to our watches. They are out there literally for life or death situations. If a man falls overboard, or a person falls overboard, they're there to call it out. So as far as watch standing, they do a lot of their surface contacts that the radars can't see. We do a lot of evolutions, SAR operations for boat operations. Do a lot of underway replenishment, which is we run the fuel rigs. We bring the fuel rigs over for fuel for the ship. Bring cargo over for the ship as well. We do a lot of painting, so we do a lot of structural preservation and revitalization for the ship. We obviously land helos, so it's so yeah, we have a big hand in a lot of things in the on the ship. Just the evolutions in general is a huge part of the ship and watch standing. We can't take on fuel if it wasn't for the boatswain mates and engineering, and every petty has a whole on the ship has a part to play.
So you talked about empowering your third classes. Mm-hmm. I know that third class is kind of advanced at a slower rate at the bosun mate rate. Mm-hmm. So how do you kind of empower your third classes to act and lead in a way that they're going to be kind of second classes, even though they're still wearing those third class crows?
Right, that's a really good question, sir. I have a really good foundation of third classes. A lot of them are still young, coming through the Navy, but they work really hard, and I give a lot of trust to them. For me, and how my leadership style is that trust is earned. As long as you're doing your job, you're looking out for your sailors, I'm gonna keep giving you more responsibility and empower you to keep putting yourself in those positions. So my third classes, they do get a lot of that encouragement, and I hold them accountable as best as I possibly can. I can't be on deck for everything. That's why I have third classes, why I have second classes, and I have another first class that helps me with that as well. But my third classes are the ones out there. They're the working supervisors. They're the ones that are working hand in hand with the junior sailors, with my junior sailors. So I just give them as much backup as I possibly can. I give them as many tasks that I can to not overburden them, but they really thrive on having that empowerment. I don't try to micromanage them. I think they really do appreciate that, and I just give them that empowerment to be a leader at a young rank, because that's what my first classes and my predecessors did before me. They really did empower me to get in there and work with them and just know your people. The better you know your people and their weaknesses and their strengths, the better off you're gonna know how your division works. So I just put them in places where I know they're gonna excel, and it just speaks for itself.
Yeah, and the bosun mates are probably one of the closest families on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys do everything together.
Yes, sir.
So the way that you guys empower each other is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But what empowered you to get into the Navy? We talked about kind of your story and your path to get in, but what got you into the Navy?
It's always been, it's always in the back of my head. My dad, he always kind of wanted me to look at the military as an option. And it always was. It wasn't until, I didn't join the Navy until I was 20. So I kind of went through, schooling, and I went and did a trade school. I went in for welding originally, and I just wasn't really going anywhere. I'm from a small town in Iowa, Mason City, Iowa, and there's not a whole lot of opportunity for employment there.
Yeah.
So it's either you kind of work in a factory or you work at the hospital or whatever. And not to say that those aren't bad jobs. Those are, those people's living, but I just wanted to do something more for myself, something bigger than myself. I just wanted to do better. I wanted to show that my parents that I could go out and be in the world, and be by myself, and have that camaraderie as well. And, in the military, you really can't find the camaraderie anywhere else. The brotherhood that we all talk about and everything like that. And once you get out of the Navy, you kind of still strive for that. That's what I hear from most people, is that they miss that tight knit group and going through deployments with people or whatever. So what really kind of brought me to join the Navy is that I really wanted to just kind of do something more and something bigger than myself. I wanted to turn my life around and have some discipline and have a better outlook on life.
So what's a typical day for you like on Decatur, especially since we're at sea it so much? Like, what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
On a daily basis, as a first class, obviously, I'm the leading petty officer for ODO 1, so it's just running the daily tasks of making sure that my bosun mates on the watch, or bosun mates of the watch, are standing a proper lookout. Everything is kind of just flowing, and all the gears are turning, making sure that my guys are getting the daily tasking that they need. We have a lot of equipment, so maintenance needs to be conducted. We're out to sea, so preservation doesn't stop, even though that we are transiting and the ship's moving. There's once we have an opportunity, a window, that we're going to go out there and paint some things and get it back up to standards. We do a lot of divisional training when we're not out there actually doing evolutions, just to stay proficient, because there are some new people in my division that need to get up to speed. So divisional training, just the daily tasking of preservation, maintenance, and then whatever comes down from the top. I work a lot with my chief petty officer, BMC Cora. I'm his right hand man. So whatever comes down from him for the division, I just put out to those guys. Administrative work, jobs, just the daily things that as an LPO should be doing. Also, I also try to keep in close contact with their personal lives as well, making sure that their home life is good, making sure that they have everything that they need out here, and just keeping that face-to-face communication, open communication with my sailors as well.
Yeah, and even getting pied in the face.
In the face, yeah.
Yeah, you got pied by your own chief last week. So the first class petty officer mess had a pie in the face contest. We posted some photos on social media, and old BM1 here was not. He was the MC for the event. Were you expecting to get pied?
There was a little part of me in the back of my head. I was like, maybe I probably shouldn't wear like my nice PT gear, just in case that they have an extra pie for me or something. But I honestly did not expect it. But when we brought out 8 pies, I was kind of doing the math. I'm like, wait, we're gonna give the Chiefs a pie? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm gonna get pied. So,
it was your own chief that did it.
It was my own chief that did it. They voted me. Yeah, they voted me up for it. So.
Hopefully, you were able to get the stains out.
I did. Yeah, we had the fresh water hose, so I took it all off, and I went and did laundry later that night.
It was messy.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. It was a fun time though. It was really good. I think we had a really good turnout, especially for our first Steel Beach picnic for deployment. It really kind of kicked off the morale, and who doesn't want to pie first class at the end of the day? So.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into a quick segment here. We're trying out some segments on this podcast, see what works, what doesn't. But one that I wanted to try is called evals.
Okay.
So we got the P, we got the MP, and we got the EP. We're going to go through 2 categories.
Okay.
And I want you to rate P, MP, EP. For those of you at home, this is like sailor evaluations. P is promotable, MP is must promote, and EP is
early promotion.
Yeah, early promotion.
Yep.
So it's like 3, 2, 1, like top 3 things, but like obviously your P isn't going to be nearly as good. So we're going to go through first for your work.
Okay.
Of the 3 kind of main evolutions you guys do, like UMREP, boat ops, flight ops, P, MP, EP.
So I'm gonna go with UNREP EP, flight ops MP, boat ops P.
Okay, so why do you say that?
So for boat ops, just because we did so many boat ops during our basic phase and advanced phase, we were we were doing so many PAX transfers. I just got sick of it. I was just like, so it kind of just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, boat ops. But now since we're on deployment, boat ops is actually it's like life or death if we're doing boat ops. Yes, we do boat ops for proficiency, like if we have to hit these REs that we have to do. But boat ops is probably just down in the barrel. But flight ops, we do a lot of flight ops. MP, I never get tired of it. There's sometimes where we don't like sitting out there for hours on end waiting for a helo, but at the end of the day, we're on deployment. It is what it is, and the schedule changes. But flight ops, I've always liked doing flight ops, just because it's my first crewed as ship, and I never got the chance to actually do it. So, and I like being out on the flight deck with my guys. And UNREP, I mean, who doesn't love UNREP? I love being out there on the rigs with everybody. It's a dangerous evolution. Not to say the other ones aren't dangerous, but it's just I myself love being out there, and it's just an adrenaline rush. I think to me that's the ultimate adrenaline rush for a bosun's mate, because there's so many things going on, and you have to be looking at everything, and there's so many people out there. It's kind of like controlled chaos to me, and I just love seeing like everything unfold and how it all can come together and work just seamlessly.
Yeah, and MC2 gets some really good photos of your UMREPs and your flight ops.
Yeah.
MC2 Negron, for everybody at home, he takes the awesome photos that go on social media. But I know you wanted to curse about the boat ops thing.
Yeah.
Like, we just do it so much when
Yeah.
we're in the San Diego area.
Yeah.
But other topic here, and this is kind of near and dear to everybody's hearts, meal days. So we have some like themed meal days. So Burger Wednesday,
I'm gonna stop
Pizza
right
and
there.
wing.
Burger Wednesday.
Yeah, pizza and wing night and brunch.
Yeah, Burger Wednesday. Hands down, Burger Wednesday. Brunch is good. Don't get me wrong. I love brunch. I like brunch with mimosas, unfortunately. So you can't fully get everything that you want. But Burger Wednesday, hands down, just because who doesn't like a good burger. So and the CSs do a really good job for the burgers. So
Yeah. So what's your MP then?
MP probably be brunch, and then
pizza and wing night.
Yeah, probably pizza and wing night, just because I don't know. I guess the pizza and wings aren't always that great.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes they hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes they hit, but
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, brunch always hits.
Brunch, yeah, it's good.
Like,
Yeah. They did a really good Christmas dinner.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, the Christmas dinner was awesome. You know,
Yeah.
holiday ham.
Yeah, we had an awesome Christmas brunch. We had waffles and everything, and then
Yeah.
we had like the full spread for like Christmas.
Yeah.
I was so seasick that night that I didn't even really eat that
Oh,
much.
I know. The ship has been going like crazy. So
Yeah.
the sea state's been pretty insane. But yeah, I try not to completely indulge myself. I don't want to be.
Indulging yourself over the
Yeah,
side.
exactly. Being a glutton. So.
So, thank you, BM1, for joining me.
Thank you,
One
sir.
last thing before you go. Can I hear your best BMC Cora impression? For everybody at home, BMC Cora is our chief for the bosun mates, and he is probably one of the most memorable chiefs on the ship. So let's see what your Chief Cora impression is.
Oh my gosh! I don't know. You're putting me on the spot. I guess I'm trying to think of what he would say.
Let's do it!
Let's do this.
Let's
Yeah,
do this.
exactly. Let's do this. Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be the one.
Yeah, and he always says that like everywhere.
Yeah.
Him and Ops.
Tip
are
of the
just like,
spear.
Tip of the spear.
So,
Hey, Ops!
Hey,
Yeah.
Ops, yeah. I appreciate it.
Hey, BM1, I
Thank you, sir.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you for
absolutely.
joining me.
Thank you.
And we're gonna head back. So I again want to thank BM1 Jimenez again for joining us on this podcast. Before we leave tonight, I just wanted to let you guys know that please send in your questions to our wonderful ombudsman, Miss Kelly Sleedsman, and I can answer them on the podcast, or our guests can answer them on the podcast. We want to engage with you, our audience, as much as possible and keep this podcast going through deployment and beyond. So thank you for supporting us from across the seas and around the world, and we hope to see you soon. Have a happy holiday wherever you are in the world, and I'm Lieutenant Junior Grade Danny Ehrlich signing off.